And it's December 2nd, and this is Peter Schaapohk, and I'm talking to Harold Brock. And I guess my first question is, were you born up on this hill, or were you...
I was born in Rivertown, Pittsburgh.
All right. When did your family first move here?
God, I don't know. I was none but a baby when I come back up here. Don't worry now, because I wasn't on a let kid baby in their arms.
What year were you born?
1970.
Oh, boy.
84 the other day.
Boy, 84. So you've lived in this house ever since you were...
Well, over there in here.
Father bought this place from the Armsburys?
Yeah. Mary, well, he didn't buy it, Mary, he bought it, I don't know, I guess.
They own both places on both sides of the road?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
That was no farm.
Then, and then you had your how many brothers did you have? One brother?
One brother, one sister.
There was Claude, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Folks home, I guess.
Was he older or younger than you? And how about your brother?
He was 5 years younger.
Now that's Earl's father, right?
Yeah.
All right, I got all the genealogy right. What was your mother's last name? She was a Hall?
Yeah. Isabel Hall.
And her father owned the place up the road there.
Albert Hall.
So all these the farms all up in the road, up and down the road here, were people full-time farmers or part-time?
Yes, that's all they got any business. They lived on the farm. There's some bets up here. God lived on that. They sold cheese and eggs and butter to pay for the farm.
So those were the cash crops.
Yeah.
Were there any other kind of crops that were raised strictly for cash, or?
Well, not much, I guess. All up there, of course, around these other places, they used to sell milk and butter.
And at Babcock, he would make axe handles in the wintertime?
Well, Sam, Ed did, but that was his son, Sam. He made, God, that was his living, but all, he'd chop wood and make axe handles.
Boy.
He raised up 4 kids on it.
Couldn't do that today.
Guess you couldn't. Well, they did be very hard. Some kind of tough times.
50 cents a cord? Boy. How long would it take to put up a cord?
All day, most men.
So a man could cut a cord in a full day?
Yeah. Some of them cut a cord in half.
But when you say a day, how many hours is that?
Well, I don't know how many hours they did put in. Well, Porter Granville, you're starting over there on the state road and walk clear to that coal job back in there. Cut wood all day. And go home at night. That's the way he earned his living. Most of the time.
There was just a saw and an axe.
Yeah. Well, most of it was an axe. But after you axed it off, split it up sort of.
Where they'd cut longer sections and
4
then...
foot.
4 foot? And do that with the axe, and then you drag it to...
Pile it up around the feet. And who cut it.
And then they would cut it up smaller if they needed it smaller.
Well, if you like the city, they'd hire somebody with a buck saw it up.
All right.
God. My dad used to, who Paul, God, he used to buck up a lot of wood with a cord around there for him. Like an old button, maybe a stick of wood on, and then it like a chainsaw.
When did people first start using chainsaws?
Oh, God, I don't know. When it was in 19. Right.
They were that early they had chainsaws.
Yeah. Well, I don't know just when it was, how old some of them were.
About how old were you when you first saw them?
Oh, probably.
No chainsaws were that had been around that long.
We used to have them 2 men used.
They were really big.
get one man on that handle over there, all of them on the, where the motor on. Hewitt's down here had one of them. They bought
Model Hewitt? It must have been an improvement, though, over the old, and that's,
I guess there's the ones they got today.
they're so light. Got up there, get out of the way
God,
there.
they ain't so light. I got one in there. I don't know what does weigh. McCullough. It's a load, but I don't use it. It's too heavy. I used to have been like because you was 17 inches opposed to wood in 17 seconds.
Wow.
We timed it. Right up in 17
That's fast.
I guess.
I don't think a man could cut that
I
fast.
guess not.
I remember asking you one time about plowing with the team, that what the times were, like how long it would take to plow an acre of land.
Well, I used to figure you got them, if you plowed an acre a day, you was doing good with a team of horses.
Now that's on ground like this here, right? And it was harder down the bottomlands,
No, it's easier.
easier?
Flat land.
With the team or with the
With a
tractor?
tractor.
So you could do better with the team than with the tractor?
Well, just about good. You could on the side hill because the damn tractor's always slate.
Okay.
Slate and slate. Right. Unless you go up and down it. Then you want to land all wash away.
So you got to go along the side. So so it's better doing it with the team on the hillsides.
Yeah, that place of mine, oh my God, I tell you, team, could use more with them than they could with a tractor, because you got to watch every move you make with tractor, you'll be bound side up.
Exactly. When did you give up using a team?
Oh, God, I don't know what year it was. Must have been
Went over to a tractor, or had you had a tractor before?
No. Well, I've had horses, and I bought a tractor. I used the horses for a lot after I bought a tractor. I kept them around for the day down there.
Do you train them yourself?
No. Well, I did use some, though, my dad's colts. I drove them. On the way, and I stayed right with them.
Where'd that happen? Out here?
Well, we were in the field, put a load of hay on them. Started putting it in that barn over there. It's going along all right. There's a knoll like that when you go down through a wall over there. And that one, he caught his eye up and you see that load of hay behind him. Boy, he went right in the air just like a bullet. Well, when he went, all of them was with him. Boy, they took off. We ended up down here in the brook.
Oh boy.
Boy, they was percolating.
Did you lose a whole load of hay?
Didn't move on just a little lot. I
Oh.
hung right to 'em. God, I had them around their hind feet, but if I'd had somebody with me, they never got going. But the old man with Claude, they was on behind walking instead of getting on there. That first load they ever was put behind them. They took off. The thing, I run them down into here and run them in the bank and they stopped. Take it back up to the barn, and we split them up and put them beside you. And all our other horses that was working
Right.
quit. Probably after that.
How old were you when that happened?
Oh God, I was
What year did you get married?
what year? 35, I guess.
And over on your old place,
36.
yeah.
Right, when we went to live over there. In 36. But it was the fall of 35 when we got married.
Okay.
But we-
So your wife was a school teacher, right?
Yeah.
That's what I understand. But she didn't come from Petersburgh originally.
No, she come Adam Center,
Okay.
our town.
So you met her when she was here teaching already, or
She was boarded here.
over on Olney Road?
Yeah, on the hill.
What name did that school have? That what they call it?
Oh, Hill.
Just the Potter Hill School. That was running right up until, I guess, the late 50s. People were still going to school there.
God, I forgot what year that they did.
That's where you went to school, right?
Yeah, I went there almost. That's the only school I ever went to.
You learned enough.
That was enough. God damn it, I was tickled when I got out of it. I
Well-
hated school.
When did you get out? In 8th grade?
Well, no, I never made eighth grade. Good God, I hated it. Well, we never had a teacher with good nothing. They never bothered with you, they paid no attention to you. God sick. You only had one learn something. But all this
What'd they try to teach you? Just arithmetic and writing?
All the stuff, arithmetic, history, English, all the spelling and all that. One teacher done that, and all the grades. God, that school used to be, every seat in it was full, and the whole back side was full at one time.
Boy.
And they didn't have hardly room for them in there.
So there were a lot of kids living in
They were around on the mountain at that time, but that was before my time. I heard 24 desks that they sat in, and they had a long one, the whole empty back of the schoolhouse there. Sat on that.
When you went to school there, how many students were there?
God damn it, there wasn't no, by 5 and 6 some of the time. Some of the time it's 10, 12. I guess the last year there was Madeline, Jenny, Clayton, Stanley, myself, and Claude. 6 of them.
Madeline, that's Madeline Stewart over.
Yeah.
So she went to that school
Yeah.
also.
I guess the only school she ever went to. I'm pretty sure it is. I know one of them.
I understand the kids who decided to go to high school, they had to go all the way up to Hoosick Falls or down to Berlin.
Didn't hear me out and go to high school. Well, nobody could afford to send them.
Yeah, because it cost you had to pay to go up there.
They made them get out and work. That's what they had to do. God sakes, my dad used to draw cordwood from where Lena lives over there, Petersburgh, when he wasn't only 12, 13 years old with a team of horses. He got rich when he was a kid and sold all the rest of them.
And I guess you did too. What were the main crops that you would raise or that were typical of what was being raised?
Well, they raised potatoes was their main crop. There used to be lots of apples. There used to be big orchards around. They pick apples after the fall.
You could still see it in the woods. I mean, a lot of old apple trees left.
And then they raised buckwheat, oats, corn, a little corn.
That was all for the livestock, or
Well, they used it to eat themselves.
all right.
But the corn they take and have grist. There used to be a mill in Petersburgh. Used to grind the nicest meal you ever ate. And then take that buckwheat, chuck it, and make the nicest buckwheat flour. They lived on pancakes.
Which mill was that? That was.
Way down by the red mill.
It was the red mill. All right.
Yeah. Down by the river there, where they used to run.
When did that stop operation as a grist
God,
mill?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I never couldn't tell you. Frank Jones owned it the last.
Right. So I know it went down like in the 1940s or something.
Somewhere. I know he used to saw. There used to be a sawmill in there, grist mill. It was run with a water power.
Right. That was an old mill. It was from 1700s they built that.
Yeah.
It's a shame it's gone.
Eddie Clark was the one that run it all while when it was running up, full blast. He was grinding, sawing. He sawed all his lumber all alone. Done all his grinding all alone. He
Boy.
didn't hire no help. Everything was cleared he earned, except the little oil he put on the pulley.
Well, that's the way to do it.
Yes, that water power is the cheapest power they ever had. And they throwed that out. The sun was gone.
And we got it all over the place here.
Well, sure. Good God, that river down there would furnish all the electricity we wanted through this town. Yes, sir.
You're right.
God, there used to be a big dam there where, you know, hold the water back there, where he'd grind and saw. You had the thing in there, you let that water in that trough. When the dam got down about so long, he'd shut it down and let it fill up again. Like in the dry weather.
Right. And wet weather, you had plenty of power
Yeah.
anyway. Boy. So, how much, like, cattle would you typically have, like on this place?
Oh God, we had probably 15, 16 some of the time.
Mostly for milking, or for also
Yeah.
for?
No, well, I used to have 22 over there on that place. Team of horses.
And you sold the milk?
Yeah.
How'd you do that? You had to take it down to
Down
the
to the
village?
state road.
Oh, just down the state road.
Mm.
And who'd pick it up there?
Well, they run trucks who pick it up.
How did that work? You just left it there and someone came, or would somebody meet you there? Or?
Well, you took it down in your milk cans, you set them on the bench. If you didn't want to wait, go on. They'd pick it up.
And how'd you get your cans back?
Well, they beat them when they went down through to get the other fellas.
Okay.
When you went down through, they beat your cans. And when they come back, they pick up your milk.
So did everybody have their name on their cans, or?
Yeah, and they had the number.
Oh, a number, all
And
right.
they had the initials on it.
Where'd they take the milk from there?
Oh, they took it to Buskirk. Some of it, God told the last went to Springfield.
Boy. And so this just you do, when would you bring it down? Every morning, or?
Yeah. Every day.
So was that from the morning milking, or from the evening's milking, or?
Well, evening, morning.
About what time would you go down to do that?
Oh, God, about 8 o'clock.
Would they pay for it?
The goddamn it, nothing. 60 cents a hundred we got 1 month.
Now what's 100?
Dearman's League. Old man, I you sent 90, 100, and we got 60 cents a hundred for it. So we got,
What's 100?
well, 100 pounds.
100 pounds. All right.
100 pounds. That's the way they'd buy it. 100 pounds. But 100.
How many pounds would be in one can?
Well, let me see. There's 40 quarts in a can. It'd be 80 some pounds in a can.
All right. And by the 100.
Yeah. And then they give you something of that.
I don't think things have changed much in that.
Well, those things changed. It's worse now than ever was. You can't buy a gallon of milk with any cream on it.
That's right.
Well, I know. Tain't fit to drink. The truth is no. Tain't. That junk they put in it. You know, milk. And it's better to drink that milk right from the old cow.
That's right.
You can cool it. Boy, you got something you can drink.
Do you ever raise any goats?
No, not better.
That's what I hear. Did anybody around here do much with goats, or?
No. No. Steve wanted to have 2, 3 around here, and then up everything there was around him.
They're horrible.
They got rid of them in a hurry.
Now my sister-in-law, they live up in Maine, and they got some goats. She loves them. I don't know, but I guess she just takes care of them. Maybe she's crazy. I don't know.
I guess she must be.
Did anybody ever raise many sheep, or?
Oh God, this whole through here, all hollows and all over, I always had big flocks of sheep.
Shear them yourself, or?
No, I had to hire them sheared. I never could learn to shear.
I understand that's hard. That's tough to do.
I just want to try one. Them old shears. Shear them. Now they got the clippers. They wouldn't be so bad now. I'd take them clippers. One shear them right off good. When you had that, you can lay them down. Hump them like a brick over there. Skin them. You wouldn't shear them. You'd skin them when your sheep got sheared and she was half skinned. God, he was the wickedest man I ever seen. All buttonholes all over.
Wow.
God, that was wicked. He was a wicked cuss.
So he wasn't very good at it then.
You know, he was good at it, but goddamn, he cut him so. Take the hide off. He got wool hiding off.
So you just do that in the spring? You'd
But then I used to do it in March. Cold heck. But
Yeah.
I never shoot mine along in April, May. It's white warm.
You're right.
Then I turn it out. It's the end of it.
And just, do you ever have any problem with any animals trying to take the sheep, or we didn't
Well,
have it?
only once. It was Morris Green had a dog, Beagle Hound down there. Somebody gave it to him. They gave it to him because he killed sheep. He come up there and went running them. I don't know, I guess he bit one or two of them. My dad, we heard him, went over there and chased him down the marsh. He took a gun, shot him. Got rid of him. So the others I never was bothered with them.
So where'd you usually pasture the sheep? Up like around where the beaver pond is, or?
No, right over there by the gate.
All right.
Right through there by where that pine tree, I had a fence went right out through there. Just half of that lower end I had sheep.
How much pasture did you have to have for a sheep?
Oh, God. I don't know hardly. I used to have that lower end down in there. Always.
Where that old foundation is, where the old...
No, that
oh.
was in just where that fence runs up through there. In down in there.
That's all woods now, isn't it? Or
No, it's brush, but what I mean is pasture is all growing up. I didn't have too big a spot in there. And the cows on the upper side and the sheep on the lower side.
didn't want to have them mix.
Well, you couldn't. You had to use page wire for sheep. Cattle, you could use barbed wire.
Oh.
And damn sheep would go through an awful little hole.
And the barbed wire doesn't bother them. Well, you don't, you know.
Well, the barbed wire, you only put three, some places 2 strands, some
You're right.
places 3. That one whole sheep.
So most of the barbed wire up on the hill there, you must have strung most of that.
Yes, I strung all that. Put the fence clear around that whole damn farm. Way around down in that old basin. I put a fence down in the way down in the bottom of that, clear top of that mountain. Next to Donald Hewitt, Malcolm.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, but clear around, over through to the Babcock place there, clear around.
And down by past our place, and well, a lot of it's still there. I tripped over a lot of it. Now I know some places did you just divide it up into various areas?
Well, each man is supposed to fix his half. You divided the fence everywhere you own, up there with the pond there, the way it is now, the way it was divided. You own from the gate up there, you know why the gate goes over to Babcock place.
Right.
You start in there and you go out, right down there, beyond by the pond. You look at a old tree there, you'll see why the wires made in there different.
Right.
That's your line fence from that gate down to there, to the pond, right down to the pond there.
Right.
Where them beavers cut them ashes.
Right.
And then I took that from there and went to the back side over towards Benson's.
Okay. So wherever there was a line, you just split that in half, and
Each one had his half to fix.
now what'd you do when Mrs. Palmer was living there? Did she fix her own fence, or?
I had fixed it, covered it up, fixed it. And then, what's his name now? Oh, the one you bought in the house.
Oh, Von Schilligan.
Von Schilligan. He come down once, licked me. He wouldn't fix his fence. That upper end all fell down. The cows went over. He had some sweet corn over there in that long lot. I don't know, I counted up something like 40-some hills. They added up, and he come down right in an old hornet. He was a disagreeable old cuss, you know what?
Yeah, I noticed.
He didn't have fixed no fence. I said, my God, you do have fixed fence. But he didn't have fixed fence. And I said, you do, we'll find out. I said, that's the law. Well, he didn't believe it. So he went and found out. Well, Bob and Wayne went up and helped him fixed it up, put it up good. And he was pretty mad. He was going to make me pay for his streetcar and his garden. I said, I won't pay for a cent. It's your fence he went through. Ain't my business to pay for it. I ain't going to pay you nothing. He was pretty well and worked up. I didn't know he was going to lick me.
Well, he's in worse shape than you are right now. It's, that's interesting.
Yeah, I told him like that. I said, I ain't been a bit afraid of you, not a bit. If you want anything, you just come on and see what you get. I could handle myself then. I wasn't no weakling when I was young. I could grab right up 216 pounds, walk right up, step up 17 inches with it, and carry it 26 feet, drop it down just fast. Two men could pass it off in the truck to me.
Well, I saw you moving those bales of hay this summer. I mean,
I ain't no good now.
well, you're better than most young people are today, so. I don't
My
think.
father, my boy's father, he stood there and watched it. He says, if I didn't see you do that, he says, I wouldn't believe it on a bet. There was 216 pounds in there. It was lime.
Boy.
And then the damn I had to step up in the stable there, 17 inches with that, and walk in 26 feet and pile it.
What were you doing with the lime?
Putting on the land.
Okay.
Yeah, you used to put 8-10 ton on the land there every spring.
How much per acre?
Well, because
Didn't work.
I didn't measure it off. I spread it with the horses and shovel.
What would the lime do?
Well, God sake, that's why now down gets such crops of hay, that alfalfa. You can't raise alfalfa unless you're lime heavy.
Really? All right.
You got stock of lime right through your ground if you raise alfalfa. That sweetens up your ground. Helps corn and everything. Yeah.
So you do lime, and you also spread manure too.
Oh yeah, it's what you make.
You didn't buy manure in those days.
I bought fertilizer. Used to buy fertilizer. Put on my oats and stuff. Potatoes.
Did you have to do a lot of fertilizing, or was it not so much?
Quite a lot. Very little of them used to buy. Put on potatoes, oats, corn. Didn't get much less you did.
Exactly.
Not up in these mountains.
But it seems people were able to raise enough that they could live from it. And,
well, I had to. Starved.
there's no welfare to take care of them.
It's not.
Now, when did you do slaughtering as far as livestock goes?
In the fall, well, we was kill pigs about Thanksgiving, beef about Christmas.
How many would you kill a year?
Oh, we killed a couple of pigs, beef. That's about all.
One cow?
Bull or heifer or something.
How long would that last you then?
Oh, the full year.
Okay. Now, what'd you do?
God, you take 700-800 pounds of pork, 400-500 pounds of beef.
That'll last a while.
I guess.
Now, you slaughtered it and butchered it yourself?
Yeah. I'm my dad.
You usually take two people to do beef, or
Yeah. You can't hang them up very good.
I've watched it. It looks, you can't do that by yourself. It's so what do you usually do with them? You shoot them and then
Yeah, stick them.
and then just hoist them up and bleed them.
Bleed them before you hoist them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Shoot them, cut the throat, let them bleed out, and then roll them up and skin them.
You say roll them up. What do you mean by?
Roll them up on their back so you can get at them. You got to
Okay.
cut them all out, their legs and belly and brisket. Get the hide started so you can cut it off.
And then you hoist it up and then finish cutting it, right? Or
Well, yes, you gut them out after you get them skinned off, or pretty well skinned off. You have to let the ends out.
you do that pretty much like a deer, I guess, or.
A lot harder to get their innards weigh something. Two men can't hardly move.
Okay, so that's the real work there.
That's work.
And then you cut them all up, and then how did you preserve the meat?
Canned it, put it in cans, salted down the pork, canned the pork.
You ever smoke anything, or just?
Yes, bacon, hams, shoulders. We then can the shoulders, put them in, cut them off, put them in the can. And keep pickle in a brine, take them out and smoke them. The bacon, have bacon, make them up sausage or make your sausage. Grandfather and grandmother used to make 125-pound sausage.
Boy.
That was their winter's food. Pancakes and sausage.
Oh, that's.
He used to have two, weigh about 800, 400 apiece, he figured on every fall. And he packed down.
Boy.
Yeah.
So then with the beef, you just put that in the can. That would go in the brine too, and
Oh, some of it, corn it down and can it. We used to can the most of it.
now when you say can, you mean can or bottle or?
No, take these cans there and cut it off and put it right in the cans and boil it. Put it on the boil for 3 hours, seal it, and it'd keep for 2 years.
Oh yeah. So you didn't put any salt or anything in there, or?
Yeah, we put a teaspoonful of salt on each can.
Okay, and then you just put, it was water and just.
No water, keep the water off. Never can meat with water. If you do, it'll sour.
All right, so you just put the meat in the can,
Yeah.
and then you boil it?
Yeah.
It wouldn't start frying in the can?
No, you put water right in your cans. You put it in a canner, you know.
All right,
Fill it
I
with-
understand what you're saying.
Fill it up with water and keep water on it as long as you boil it. That water keeps it from cooking down. Saves all your. If you don't, it breaks your cans all to pieces.
But you don't have any water in the meat.
No, you keep water out. You don't even boil it. We Hazel tried canning the broth. You know, she'd take the bones and cook the broth off, cook it up, put water on, get so that meat and stuff, and broth. Never could keep it. And keep full month or two, and then it was sour.
Huh. But with the meat, and you see, how'd you seal it up?
Well, just with your cans, your tops. Did you ever wipe ever can anything?
Yeah, no, I'm just asking for this so that.
Right, it ain't on the can.
I'm afraid maybe 50 years from now, nobody's going to know
Oh,
what it is.
They wouldn't, if they did know. You can't get anybody to cook none for you. God, how many will bake and cook like the old-fashioned people?
Not many. Not many.
I guess it's scarce. They've got to go to the store and buy it.
It's true. That's a real shame also, but.
Got your good foods. What your wife baked for you,
Oh,
cooked for you.
much better.
Right, so when they used to thrash around, good God, the people run the thrashing machines and things, they said that's why they got their good food. Going around places where the women put on a big dinner for them.
Now, when did you usually eat your biggest meal of the day? At lunchtime or at supper time?
God, I used to always eat 3 meals a day. Breakfast, dinner, and supper. Eat a good dinner and a good supper, and a pretty good breakfast.
The dinner was at lunchtime, though.
Noon.
Yeah.
12 o'clock.
So you come in from the fields then, and so you didn't take your food out to the fields with you.
Oh, did you? It wasn't working around home. I used to carry mine from here when I worked over there before I was married. Always take my dinner here, over there, eat over there at noon, take my horse feed.
How did you carry your dinner over? Just
Dinner pail.
okay. That's interesting.
Oh, God. Can't find a good cook anymore. Damn scarce.
Well, and also knows how to cook on a stove like this. That's Now, my wife learned how to cook over a fireplace and using one of those old bake ovens and so on, but she doesn't know how to work one of these yet. So, she knows the real old way and the modern way, but the in between she doesn't know yet. That's got to be something, because you got to keep that going all the time.
Well, you got to keep putting in wood, keep your oven up. If you cook potatoes and meat on top, I got that fried meat.
Oh yeah.
Cook your potatoes. There's a little oven here, bake your potatoes. You got to throw them in there and let them bake.
Yep.
They're good.
Do you still grow any potatoes at all?
Yeah.
Where do you usually grow your potatoes?
Out there in the garden.
Where-
My dad used to raise 150 bushel of potatoes every year.
Boy. The same place or in different spots?
Different spots. Chinned off.
Did deer bother you much this year?
Get up all the garden.
All right, Wayne.
Get up all the garden. Get up all the peas. Get up all the tomatoes. Half the cabbage. Cleaned up about everything. Started in on the sweet corn.
Because it didn't bother me at all this year. Guess they were happy down here. So, because they didn't touch our garden at all.
We're going to get up all the kidder stuff. Tomatoes.
Really? Because they didn't touch our garden this year. Last year they did. They ate everything, but this year didn't touch it at all.
I don't know. Just clean this one. Had the pumpkins. I had some beets and carrots down by the fence there. I just went up. There was noise. The beets got like I was going to get them, count them up. And out there and they did up every one of them. There wasn't no one. They didn't leave me one.
That's horrible.
And I couldn't see them. They went out of shop.
I would.
I couldn't. They come right in the dark. You couldn't see nothing. I don't was shooting the night. I don't know what I'm shooting.
Exactly. Boy.
No. Had 3 rows of peas clear across the garden out there. I don't know how many, what it cost the seed he got. It's just in blossom. When there's in blossom, went right through and they mowed them right to the top of the earth.
So you just come right over the fences here and just.
Yeah.
And they're not scared by any of the little reflectors or any of that?
No, I had everything out there whipping and going. They'd stand right underneath them. Before they used to scare them off, but this year they wasn't scareable.
Boy. Now they're getting smart, I guess.
I guess some of them smart, some of them won't be eaten.
What about if the dogs are out there? Would that stop it, or?
God damn, they chase the dogs to hell. No, there was one old dog. When they had that dog at Wanda, that red one, and that beagle, there was an old dog up there. She came out and they started up there and went putting her to her. She took right after him. She chased him clear to Stonewall that head. They run like the death. But somebody must have shot her because she never come around and showed up anymore. Somebody must have killed her.
Right. Well, I guess we've gotten quite a few this year. I hope so. It's. Were there a big problem years ago?
No, not the way they are now. They didn't used to bother. Now they'll take your potatoes and eat them right off right top of the ground.
So I guess there's just more deer around than there used to be.
Oh yeah, God takes a lot of them. killed women and they pick up 2, 3 along the roads pretty much every day or long different times, you know.
But years ago, they just didn't have that many around.
No, it wasn't so big, but now they got so I guess nuisance. Look at the cars that smash up.
I know. I've seen it. But it's not as bad hitting the deer as it is hitting the cow.
Oh wow, I don't know.
My brother did that once. He hit a cow. Totaled his car. I mean, there was nothing left.
Well, deer will.
Oh yeah, they'll do it too.
On your car.
No, I hit a deer once, made it look like an elephant, stepped right on the front of the car. Just completely crushed in. And I was only going 15, 20 miles an hour.
Oh, you don't have to be going very fast. But what's his name? Bill here the other day, one jumped right up. Across down here by Carl Webster's there, out in there where they fixed that road, somewhere in there. Banged right into the side of his car, bumped it right in and killed the deer right there.
Boy.
Broke his neck. He was going right along, and the deer comes right into his car, kabang.
God.
So he got one. Nothing. But that's all I say, goddamn state claims they own the deer. But the one that hits your car, you can't collect a cent.
That's right.
That ain't right.
No.
But we're paying license, big license to hunt deer. They should put out feed. If our cattle is starving, here, they come in, they'll have you arrested. Them deer can stay out there and starve and die right there in the field. They get by and not. Well, that ain't right. They get paid for that, to take care of that stuff. And they should do it. I don't know why they ain't made to.
That's the government.
Yeah, I guess it's the government. Who's the government? It's the poor farmers and people that's doing the feeding on them. I said the farmer feeds them and you ought to have a right to have one for nothing.
Yeah.
Whether it's a buck or a doe.
Exactly.
You're the ones, the farmers, the ones that feed them. They eat off you all the year round. You don't need no regulation now.
That's the usual way.
Got a bunch of crooks in the world.
That's definitely the truth. Yeah, that's right there. Just want to add one other thing. Back up on my place, that was fellow who owned that Lewis. He's the same one who owned your old place, right?
Yeah,
Amacy Lewis. Now, which place did he lived in? He lived over at your old place, or?
He lived up there and he lived down there, both places. He lived up there twice. Let me see, right. He sold it. He moved from down there up there, and then he sold it, and then he moved back down there.
Okay, he didn't like it because it was so cold up there.
No, he liked the money. He sold it and got, I don't know what he did get for it. It was too heavy lot. Oh boy. My dad and my grandfather owned that before. They sold it to Amacy.
That's right. I guess that's on my deed. I saw that. That's.
They give $1,200 for it.
Now that's when it's still the big place. I mean, it still had 100 acres up there,
Yeah.
or 107 acres. But that encompassed part of your place too.
Yeah, I bought 90 acres of
Right. That's when the Palmers bought the
Yeah.
place. So they broke that up.
Yeah, they only wanted 10 acres in the house. What's his name there? Sheffield, I guess, was owned it.
Right.
He had that left on his hands and that 7 acres across the road.
Right.
He asked me what I'd give him for it. I said, I don't know if I want it.
What, the 7 acres or?
No, 90 acres.
Okay.
He kept hammering around. He said, what'd you give for it? I said, I'll give you $200 for it. He says, all right, I'll make a deal for it and I'll pay the taxes. So he did. I paid him for it.
And then your wife bought the 7 acres across the road.
Yeah. Well, I forgot what she gave for that. $100 wasn't it? She made $50 on that, so I think it was $100.
And then you ended up selling that to Benson, right? The 7 acres? Because Benson's got that now.
No,
Told Carl Hay.
Carl Hakes bought it. He owned that place. Carl Hakes owned it before Mendenhall bought it. Mendenhall's one sold it to Benson.
Okay. And there were still people living up in that house.
Yeah, that house was pretty fair shaped. The churches got it. And all over that one. It used to be a warm little old house there.
The one on Olney Road there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fireplaces was in there. Yeah.
You pulled that down, didn't you, Wayne? When did that go down?
No, probably 7 years, 8 years ago. I pulled it down from Bent, I think it was. Got me close to it. One is what, 27? Somewhere in there. No, it's gotta be 24. 5 something.
All right, it's I'd like to see what that place looked like. But it was in pretty bad shape by the time you took it down.
Yeah, it was shot. Was all there, but they ripped half the house down and left it. And that ended it.
Who did that?
That was Brown Grogan, wasn't it?
Yeah, broken.
What'd they tear it down for? I mean, or start?
Tore the roof all off of it, and then they left it there, and then they all rotted.
What'd they tear the roof off for?
Oh, you're going to fix it. You didn't have no money to fix it with.
Just what the hell?
Yeah, it went down flat.
Boy.
Wasn't long going after that.
No, I was